Any more questions? Yes?
Yes, good morning. In selling your corn to ethanol plants, is mycotoxin level a quality consideration?
This year, mycotoxin should not be, normally you have mycotoxin when you've had it dry in a drought area. This year, the mycotoxin should not be an issue in our area, I don't feel. I mean, you just never know, I mean, until you get into the harvesting of the crop. But as for the ethanol, I guess I wouldn't think it'd be an issue in the ethanol. But I mean, you still you do not want mycotoxin going to ethanol plants because the output of the DDG. So I mean, it could, so anything going in an ethanol plant has got to meet the requirements and standards as well.
So they screen for mycotoxin level?
Pardon me?
They screen for mycotoxin levels?
Yes.
Okay,
I mean,
thank you.
Yeah, because they have to, when they're selling the feed product too, they need to screen for that too, yes.
Let me add on this. Every ethanol plant in the States that's supplying DDGs for export markets, screening corn for aflatoxin. And then upon customer request, they can also screen it for other mycotoxins. But aflatoxin screening is standard. It's number one. Number two is it's also in the interest of the ethanol plant to make sure that the corn that gets into the ethanol supply has the least amount of aflatoxin or mycotoxins, because the toxins are the ones that are responsible for the decrease in ethanol yield. And ethanol is a moneymaker for ethanol plants. So on the residual side DDGs, when we get problems with DDGs, lower margins for ethanol plants. So, yeah. But U.S. corn, quality-wise, aflatoxin levels,
have not been the big issue, no.
3-4 ppb. Oh, that's what I'm hearing. Any questions? Yes.
Thank you. I'm from feed millers, and up to now we don't use DDGS in my formula yet. Then what I want to know is, where can I find papers or any articles about DDGS application in poultry problem?
That guy right there.
I'm a little embarrassed here. Yeah, we talk, okay, after this? Yes, DDGS, probably Southeast Asia is the most aggressive user of DDGs in poultry and swine. Probably more aggressive than in the States. 85% of DDGs in the US are used in the dairy and beef cattle. And just a little small portion is used by Tyson's and Smithfield. Whereas here we're seeing most of the DDGs used in the Southeast Asian feed industry is mostly with swine and poultry. Broiler layer as well as swine, both commercial feed as well as on-farm mix. So Southeast Asia actually can teach a lot of the US poultry producers on how to do that. So yeah. Any questions on corn supply? I know this year is very different from last year. Last year we had a situation where buyers were calling our office with questions whether there will be enough corn to supply the livestock sector, whereas this year we're swimming in corn. And bearish situation for next year. There's a question. Yes.
Yeah, regarding DDGS, has the new DDGS with a higher protein level already available?
There are 5 plants in the States that produce what's we call high protein DDGs. Protein levels ranging from 36 to 49. There are even some research from newer wet milling projects that put out 56%. But realistically, very few of them are available commercially. There are some customers in Malaysia that are bringing high pro DDGs, but the bulk of the product, I'm talking 98% of the DDGs exported are the standard 36 pro fat DDGs coming out of typical ethanol plants, dry mill ethanol plants. I guess another point to mention that ethanol industry is going through the ongoing transformation. ethanol plants are investing in the new modern drying facilities. So the process is improving, and as we have seen over the last 5 years, the DDGS quality so far has been on the rise. Yes, Emily?
Yeah, this is a question for Kevin. I think the buyers here might be a little interested. There hasn't been a lot of talk about it, but let's talk about freeze dates, frost concerns, that type of thing, as well as obviously the soy market and the meal market's inverted. As a farmer, and again this is to provide the audience, but as a farmer, what are your frost dates, or what are your concerns with that with the corn crop? And secondly, do you think, again, given the inversion in soy and soy meal, are you going to make changes in terms of what you're cutting first, what you're going to be marketing? Maybe just give them a flavor of that.
Okay. As for harvesting, we harvest what is ready. I mean, a lot of farmers go back and forth. They'll harvest beans first. They'll harvest corn first. Personally, we try to harvest all of our beans first. It's just easier. We raise some seed beans for a company, and when you raise seed beans, you do not want to have any corn in the combine. You want pure seed. So we try to do all the beans first, and then we'll go to the corn. Hopefully the corn is standing. You do not have stalk rot, so that's not an issue. I mean, we let Mother Nature dry the corn down so we don't have to buy fuel to dry it ourselves. As for the frost dates, we are behind this year. The whole Midwest is behind in growing degree days. We are probably 2 weeks behind, where we would normally be out of a freeze scare in a lot of areas by 1st of October. It's going to be closer to the 20th of October. In my area, on the average freeze doesn't come until about the 10th to the 15th of October. Last year, our first freeze did not come until almost the 1st of November. So we have, I mean, that's something we don't have a control of, but it is going to be something we're going to be concerned with.
Kevin, yield-wise, what would be effect on the corn yield if early frost was to come in?
Right now, the corn is pretty much made on the ear. We'll probably be looking at a lighter test weight, and anywhere from possibly maybe 10 to 20%. So it's something we don't want to really know.
Okay.
I mean, it could be devastating. If a soybean is in the maturing stage, once they're green, once they turn their leaves and their leaves have turned to yellow and are starting to drop leaves, if a freeze hits then, should not be much of an issue at all. Biggest issue is if you get a freeze, it changes the plant's ability to dry down naturally. So,
okay, thank you. Questions? Okay, if no more questions, I would like to thank Kevin for his presentation.
thank you.